Welcome to our conversation on financial reporting. In this session, we will focus our attention on one of the ways of changing the number of shares of a company. Whenever we say the change in the number of shares, it can happen through the issue of shares. And the issue of shares can be through public issue or bonus issue or rights issue. In all these cases, the number of shares increases. Sometimes the number of shares can also be reduced through various ways of capital reduction. And one of the popular ways of capital reduction is a buyback of shares. But the focus of the session is not issue of shares or neither the buyback of shares. The focus of the session is the change in the number of shares through stock split and reverse split. So in stock split and reverse split also, the number of shares change. But let us understand these two terms first. Stock split is a corporate action where a company increases the number of its outstanding shares by dividing the existing shares into multiple new shares. So as the name itself conveys, it splits the shares, it divides the shares. And the stock split is always considered with reference to the face value of the share. So when stock split happens, the face value per share reduces. For example, a share of face value of 10 will be split into 2. It means the face value is reduced from 10 to 5. If it will be split into 5, then face value will be reduced from 10 to 2. If it is split into 10, then the face value will be reduced from 10 to 1. So stock split is therefore an artificial way of reducing the number, the face value and increasing the number of shares. But whenever there is a stock split, we can see that there is no cash flow. No inflow of cash, no outflow of cash. No change in the paid up capital. No change in the equity. Number of shares increase. Therefore, the book value per share falls. I repeat, stock splits will not lead to any change in the equity. Equity is capital plus other equity, and the capital does not change. But the denominator, the number of shares rise, therefore, the book value per share falls. When the book value per share falls, there will be an effect in the market also. Invariably, stock split is a process of reducing the face value and increasing the number of shares. And stock split is a very common strategy adopted by several companies. For example, in the recent months, in 2025 itself, Adani Power split the shares into 5. Tata Investment split the shares into 10. Coforge split the shares into 5. And there are many others who have undertaken stock split. Some of the other popular ones are Varun Beverages, Andhra Paper, Sapphire Food. These are all executed stock splits in late 2024. So we can see that stock split is a very common corporate action in India. And let us pick up one to understand a bit more. So the Adani stock split. On August 1st, 2025, the board of directors of Adani Power approved the stock split. One for of share of 10 subdivided into 5 shares of rupees 2. So we can see that the face value reduced to 2. As a result, the number of shares increased, split into 5. Effectively, it's called 5 for 1. Okay. This is actually the first Adani Power's first ever stock split. What will be the effect on the capital structure? So pre-split, the capital is 24,800 crore. The face value is 10. Post-split, the number of shares increased 5 times, but the capital remains same. So paid up capital remains unchanged. So what has changed is the number of shares, and the face value reduced. The number of shares increased. What is the objective of that? As mentioned in their own website, as well as the message to the stock exchanges, the objective of the stock split was to improve liquidity and accessibility. So normally stock split is used to reduce the price, in the process to increase the number of shares and therefore increase the liquidity. And that's exactly what Adani Power has also said, that to make shares more affordable, and making shares more affordable will enhance liquidity and broadens access for retail investors. In the process, they also want to say that we want to be engaged with the investors. And because of increase in the liquidity, the market also responded positively. Market is a group of buyers and sellers. When more and more buyers and sellers participate in the market, there will be a positive vibes going to the market. So the shares gained around 2% because of the stock split. But as we have seen, the book value per share normally get affected because of the stock split, and the book value falls because the number of shares rise. So stock split, the existing is divided into 5 shares. So the company's equity remaining same, the book value per share effectively divides by 5 post. So Adani's book value per share, Adani Power's book value per share before split was 146.09. Equity by number of shares. Now the same equity, but the number of shares gone up. So post split, the book value per share has gone down to 29.21. So we can see that the book value per share coming down, and the fall in the book value of shares from 146 to 29 is exclusively because of the stock split, which is increase in the number of shares. Whenever there's a stock split happens, as an analyst, as an observer, always keep in mind, observe the book value per share and the price. The stock split increases the liquidity, attracts more retail investors. So investors' perception is important. Stock split will not directly affect the cash flow's ability to generate. So in principle, it will not affect the valuation, but the market response because of the liquidity. So the price may gain. The other conventionally profitability ratios like PE ratio or return on equity are not affected because they are not equity driven, okay, or book value per share driven. The equity remains same. So PAT by equity will be same before and after. And return on capital employed, no change. So the inherent ability of the company to generate cash flows and generate profit is not affected by the stock split. Interestingly, the reverse split is just the other side of the picture. In stock split, we reduce the face value, increase the number of shares. In reverse split, the number of shares fall because the face value is increased. Face value is increased. So reverse split is a process of reducing the number of shares by increasing the face value. In stock split, the face value is reduced. So book value per share rises here. Whereas in stock split, book value falls. This is not a very popular business decision, but still we see several companies, okay, do the reverse split. For example, in India, Hindustan Construction Company consolidated 5 shares into one. Okay. So 1 share is issued in place of 5. That means 5 are clubbed together and 1 share is. So the face value increased from 1 to 5. And internationally also, this has been happening, this has been used. Finnair, there was a reverse split, 1 for 100. So this has happened because or immediately after the share price collapsed by 93%. In stock split, when the price is high, the companies go for stock split to reduce the price. In reverse split, when the price falls drastically, so this reverse split can be done to bring the price up to certain level. And that's what happened in Finnair. Similarly, in the past also, the American International Group went for reverse split. Citigroup went for reverse split in 2011. General Electric in 2021 also went for reverse split. And these are all part of their larger restructuring plans, sometime to manage the price, sometime to manage the number of, always through managing the number of shares. Whether reverse split or cash or stock split, there is no cash flows. So to summarize, the number of shares can be changed in number of ways. It can be increased through issue of shares. It can be decreased through buyback of shares. But in most of these cases, there is an actual cash flow, except the bonus issue. But in reverse split and stock split, the number of shares change through the change in the face value per share. So it's an artificial way of managing the price, managing the book value, and managing the market sentiments to increase or reduce the volatility or liquidity of the company. So stock split is therefore one of the stock split and reverse split are very common, popular business decisions to undertaken by the company's management to manage the price. Thank you very much.